Welcome to Forex Daybreak, a daily podcast where we cover 8 Forex pairs and give you our view on the market direction for these pairs. If you are trading Forex market, this is the #1 show to start your trading day. Now, let's begin today's episode.
Good morning everybody and welcome to Forex Daybreak episode 47. In this daily Forex update, I will give you my view on 8 Forex pairs I analyze using Elliott Wave principle. My name is Ville Vainio and today is 13th of October 2015. This podcast is recorded also as video and it is available from the members area at forexdaybreak.com. The analysis is best viewed as video, but you can follow along with the images found on the show notes page at forexdaybreak.com. Now before we start, I have some great news for you. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and start training my analysis on this podcast. Starting from episode 50, I'm going to switch gears a little and start focusing on trades on this podcast. I'm going to do this on a demo account for legal reasons and do a little analysis on the side. I'm not going to analyze all the 8 pairs every day, but focus on those with trading opportunities. So from episode 50 onwards, this show is all about trading the Forex market with you. I'm going to tell you what I trade, when I trade, why I trade. So basically this podcast is going to be a free single service for all listeners. Share the podcast and tell your friends about this so we can get as many traders on board as possible. Okay, now let's get started. Let's get on with our first pair, which is EURUSD. So yesterday we got some upwards move all the way up to 113.965, but since EURUSD has declined, price now 113.517. So perhaps this is the start of the next decline, impulsive decline down, which should be the third wave. We should see a very rapid decline. Let's see this on 1 hour chart. So here we can see the price action and structure in more detail. So the 113.965 is the yesterday's peak, and since we have been declining, at this point it's impossible to say about the structure of this decline, but in my opinion there is a bearish bias on this pair. From the 111.7 low we can see some sort of 5-wave structure which would count as the C wave of this large corrective phase. So perhaps we have seen the end of this correction and are looking for now a larger decline to the downside all the way. Well, the first target would be to go below 110.865 or even this trend line which connects the two lows. So if we see a decline below 112, I would say, then we are very strong on the bearish side, but 5-way structure to the downside would be a very nice signal for the bears and the conclusion of this very large sideways correction. Yesterday I drew this on the chart. Today I'm going to draw it again so we can see 3-wave structures from the low of 111.045. We can see 3-wave structures, 3 waves up and down, and now we can make out perhaps a 5-wave structure to the peak of 113.965, and now we have declined. This recent decline can also be a 4th wave, so then this would need one more up move, but we need to stay below 114.6 in order for this to be minute wave 2 correction and not minute wave 2 correction. So let's see how this develops. I'm slightly optimistic on the downside, but nothing solid here yet to say that we are going to start the next impulsive wave down. Alright, dollar yen next, which has declined towards the lower end of these trend lines I have on my charts. Price now 119.96, and hardly anything new here. I'm still looking for a decline below this trend line, below 119.5, maybe towards 118.68 low, maybe even lower than that. Of course, there's the possibility that this is just a very large sideways correction, even a triangle, and next move can be to the upside. Until we break through these trend lines, it's very hard to say what is the correct labeling here. My preferred count right now is proposing that we should get one more wave down, but if we move higher and start approaching the 121 level, and then this has probably been a sideways triangle and we should expect more upside. Alright, next is pound dollar, which has declined from yesterday, and my preferred count is not looking so positive at the moment. My 151 low, which I have labeled as minute wave B, I would propose a lot more upside, and now we have seen quite a powerful decline. Since yesterday's highs we have been declining. Let's see, yesterday we were at 153.75 and now we are 70 pips lower, so bearish bias in this pair. This would support the strength in EURUSD, the dollar strength in EURUSD. So if dollar is getting stronger, this pair also would be going down. Also in euro pound we can see later that there has been pound weakness yet again. If we continue the decline, then this wave count is not correct and we might have even started an impulsive wave down, but I'm going to label this in more detail later this week so we can get a good picture out of this. As of now, there's on this large structure there's an overlap, so this would propose we are in some sort of corrective phase. You can see that all the large waves are overlapping, so this would propose a corrective structure here, but at this point a little bit unclear what to expect next. Alright, euro pound is next, and euro pound is struggling to get higher and has been more or less on a sideways range. 0.7412 is now the price. I would like to see a move above 0.744 before calling this top. We can make out 4-wave structure here, so probably one more wave higher is expected in order to complete this very large correction and this final 5th wave of the C wave. So little more upside is probably ahead in this pair before the larger reversal can happen. Okay, next euro yen, which has not yet reached the upper trend line of the triangle. Of course, this is not absolutely necessary to reach all the way up to this 137, let's see, around 137.65 level. So this can be still a legitimate triangle even if we don't reach all the way up to this level. And if we take a look at the structure here, we can see 3 waves up, then 3 waves down as A, B, and now a very choppy structure. Also, if we take a little bit back, we can see these are all 3 wave structures, and this is going to make it a correction. So perhaps we can label the C wave right here, the peak, and now would see a 3 wave structure around the lower trend line of the triangle, around 132.5, 132 levels. Okay, next is pound yen. Pound yen has declined as well. Price now 183.495. My wave count is proposing that this is a C wave of the intermediate wave X. So now the pound pairs have a slightly unclear wave structure right now, at least in my opinion, and a little bit similar in pound yen than in pound dollar. We can see there is an overlap, which would propose that we are in some sort of corrective phase. We can possibly make out a 5-way structure from the 188.276 peak all the way down to 186.4. But the previous large decline and this new decline, they are overlapping. So perhaps there is some sort of impulsive count here, but in my opinion we are on a larger corrective phase and possibly forming a smaller triangle here. So at this point it's hard to say. The price action would propose more downside, and if we are forming a triangle, we can expect a decline towards 181 level and then turn back up. But at this point, slightly unclear wave structure. Okay, next is Euro Canadian dollar, which is going higher, and this recent price action is not giving a good signal on the bearish wave count or the bearish view. And like I talked about yesterday, I was a little bit concerned about this 3-wave structure from the 151.56 high down to 145.47 low. So this was in 3 waves and is proposing that we are forming a corrective phase here. And this would mean that we are still on this minute wave 2 correction, which I have labeled ended at 151.56, and now this 3-wave structure is a continuation, perhaps an X wave, and now we should probably expect more upside. But the other thing is that we have been making very choppy overlapping price structure from this recent move higher. So perhaps this is only a smaller correction on the wave down, and we will get a 5-way structure to the downside once this structure is finished. So let's see how this develops. Slightly unclear structure at this point. Last pair is US dollar Canadian dollar. Very strong upwards move here, and we have declined all the way down to 129 levels, quite even. 129 actually is the low, and since then very powerful upwards move, and perhaps we have seen the end of this correction, but too early to say at this point. I have a Fibonacci expansion level, I think 161.8% retracement level is right down here, 127.388. So this was the level I was expecting this to go, but this recent upwards move is very powerful, so perhaps we have seen the end of this correction or are making the B wave of this Y corrective leg of the minute wave 4. Okay, that's all for today's episode. Remember that this podcast is recorded also as video and it is available from the members area at forexdaybreak.com. Another great feature you find there is my Elliott Wave Ninja trading system. Both of these are included on the monthly subscription, which is only $10. I have a 14-day free trial, so take this no-risk opportunity and go to forexdaybreak.com to sign up. Now thanks for listening to my show. Now go make some profits and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks for your interest in Forex Daybreak Daily Podcast. If you like this show, we hope you'll visit our website, www.forexdaybreak.com, and tell your friends about us. Be sure to check the show notes on our website for this episode. Join us next time for another episode of Forex Daybreak.